Good morning and afternoon, everyone, wherever you may be joining us from in the world, and welcome to day 3 of Artlogic Connect 2024. My name is John Duff. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Artlogic, and you might have seen me in some other videos. I just want to give you a little preface about what today's skill session is going to be about. We have designed these skill sessions to give you some hands-on practical information and insights on what you can kind of start using in our product. And hopefully for those of you who are new to Artlogic, we'll also give you a little bit of flavor of what the platform can do for your gallery or studio. For those who are new to Artlogic, I'll just give you a little bit of a background because I know there are a significant number who are new to the platform. Artlogic is an online-based software company that works with over 5,000 art businesses, that's galleries, artists, and collectors to help streamline their operations, their inventory management, their contacts, their sales, and their marketing into one platform. So it makes you far more efficient as an organization and helps you grow as well. So today's session, as I said, is going to focus mainly on marketing. So I'm going to take a quick look at our email marketing tool. And this is a tool that's very similar to if you have something like MailChimp or Constant Contacts. So I'm going to take you through how you can build one of our newsletters using our system. And then I'm going to take you a quick look at our websites and how you can use some viewing tools to give collectors a better sense of how large an artwork is. So scale is very important in the buying process. So we've got some specific tools that help with that. Now, we don't have any time for a Q&A today, but if you do have any questions on how marketing can help your business, one of our team would be more than happy to answer any question you have. So please do feel free to get in touch with us via our website, or when we send out the recording for either this session or any of the other sessions, we'll put in links so you can speak to one of us. If you do need to step away, don't worry, it is being recorded. We'll send it out to you next week. And if you are watching on demand, you can skip along to the chapter that's relevant to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to jump straight in to the homepage of the gallery management system. So this is where you'd have all of your contacts, your artworks, your inventory, and sales information. And because I have the marketing module turned on, you'll see that marketing is up here. So for those of you who are currently clients, and I can see there are a number of you, it's very nice to see some familiar faces on the call. If you don't have this marketing tab showing, it means you don't have it enabled. So you can speak to one of our sales team. We can happily get it enabled for you. So I'm going to jump over to compose and edit emails, and I'm not going to do one of those sessions where it's here's one I did 5 minutes earlier. I'm going to design this on the fly so you can see how quick and easy it is to get a beautiful looking newsletter relatively quickly. So this is where all of the emails live. Currently, because I've started from scratch, there are no emails in here. So I'm going to start a new record. And we offer some templates for you to start with. So these are kind of what we've designed that a lot of galleries like to use. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to start with a blank one. And I'm going to give my email a title. So this is something that I've written earlier. So I'm going to be designing our newsletter for the Pacific Coast Art Fair in 2024 that's coming up. And then also there's preview text here. So this preview text is the text that you'll see when your emails come through to an email client. You'll have the subject, and then just underneath it, you'll get a line of text. So this is where you'll put your preview field. So I'm just going to copy some text I have, because writing whilst people are watching is the worst thing. So I've got, as a Highline Gallery, I've got some new work, so I'm putting that in. I'm going to toggle this as live because I want to be able to do something with it later. I'm going to save that record. This will now allow me to start building my email. So on the right-hand side, this is where you can do all of your work and you can drag in different elements. And on the left-hand side, this is where the email will be composed. So I would like to put my gallery logo in. It's very common for a lot of places to put their logo at the top. This is also important for that your logo does go in, because people need something recognizable when they open an email. It helps with readability. It helps with reliability of knowing that where this email is coming from, and people like to kind of know it's safe. So I've got my logo in there. Now I'll click on this object again, and this is where I can start to control different things. So I can change the padding, I can create more space at the top, I can kind of reduce the width of the email. I'm going to keep it at 15 for this. Also, if we have other image options where you can crop an image, you can make it square. You'll see that because mine was actually an image that wasn't suited to being cropped, it's going to disappear. So I'm going to take that off. And then you can add in your URL. So I'm going to put in my gallery name because I would like people to be able to click on it and go straight to my homepage. And then you can input your alt image text. This is very important for screen readers, but for the purpose of this, I'm not going to do it because and then I'm going to add in another large image. I've got an image of the artworks installed. So that's just going to load in. And I can already tell I would like a little bit less padding between the logo. And I'm just going to, again, remove some of that padding. And that will keep it nice and tight. Now, I do also need to get in a header for this email. I want people to understand what it's about. So I'm just going to copy in the Pacific Coast Art Fair. And this is where you can go into text styles and you can start changing text based on what type of gallery you have. So if you have a gallery where you think a bit more serif text is available, suitable, we have options for that. Again, there's lots of different ways you can start making it feel a bit more like your gallery. For this gallery that I currently run, I'm going to go with Helvetica. I like the cleanness of it. And you also have the option to change line height. You can change letter spacing, but I like it quite bunched. And I also, this sizing is just about working, but actually I might change it to maybe about 24. Maybe we'll punch it to 28. There we go. Settle with that. Now, I don't think that's quite strong enough, so I'm actually going to say, join us at the art fair. There we go. And now I'm going to add in another text block. And here I want to put a little bit more information in, and I'm going to put the date as well. So I'm going to copy that information in. And he can see that when you do copy information from other text places, whether it be a Word document, a Google Doc or something, it will carry over formatting. So things like bolds will carry over. So you can pre-write your text in another software if you want. If you collaborate across as a team in, say, Google Docs or Word, you can do that and then copy it over, and it will copy most stylings as well. So I think this text is maybe a little bit small. So I'm just going to punch that up to maybe 18. Let's go for 16. And I think that about works. Now, what I've realized is I'm not calling out our booth well enough. So I'm going to pump in a button. And I'm going to say booth A25. Now, this is where you can customize different elements to kind of be bold and really catch people's attention. Because what you want people to do is when you're looking at an email, most people aren't going to scroll on emails. They'll see the first couple of things. They're going to see your logo, they're going to see your first image, your header, and then just about everything else is going to get lost. So your most important information has to be at the top. Doesn't mean you can't build the rest of your email. They're going to be really engaged contacts that will look at the rest of it, but you really want to get everything you want them to have at the top. And you want to be able to make sure things have differentiation so that you can call them out and people can see different elements and be like, okay, great. I know it's booth 825. That's where I want to go. So I'm going to add a background image to this. I'm going to take off the border. I'm going to make it nice and long. I'm going to make it nice and skinny. And then I'm going to change the text style to white. Make it, let's go for 18. And I'm going to make it really bold. And then I'm going to put it on the left. I'm going to go back to my layout settings and remove the padding. And that will sit very nice and neatly underneath. So already it kind of has a nice hierarchy to it. I've got my logo, I've got my image, I've got the call out text, I've got the booth, and I've got the date as well underneath. Now, using some of our different objects, I'm going to go in and add some of our artworks. So I've just dragged in the 2-column grid. There we have different options. We've got a 3-column grid. We can also add details with that. But for this purpose, I like to use the 2-column grid. It would automatically default to adding 1. And then on the right-hand side, you can go in and add a second. So I'm just going to pop in my artwork images. And then I'm going to add in the artwork titles. For this purpose, I'm going to untitle them. And then you can also add in other information. And because of these are three separate text fields, you have options to change how they look, and you can provide hierarchy. So you'll see they'll default. The top one has a slightly larger setting, the subheading slightly smaller, and then the body even smaller. So you can control these within the object settings. So the heading one, I want to make bold. They're all untitled, or maybe I'll go back to medium and I'll put that down to an 18 size. And then they were made in 2024. And just going to put in some more information on them. So I've got some in there. Obviously, we've got a few more artworks that we're exhibiting. So what I actually want to do is really get people to click on the private view that I made. So I'm adding in another text field, and I'll say you can see more available works in the link below. So if you made a private view link, and this is our tool that you can use to curate artwork, so you're taking to a fair or even to an exhibition, you can create those in a private view link. It'll have all the updated information. You can also have availability updated, price, additional supporting information as well. So now that I've put in that text, I think it's maybe a little bit small. I'm going to make it a bit bigger so that people see it. And I'm going to go back to my button. Once I find it, I scroll too quickly. And I'll add that in. And then you'll see I can just, each section and object has a little arrow next to it. So you'll see that I can now drag that underneath the text. And I'm going to change the button settings again. I want to make that a big black button with white text so it's easy to stand out. And I'll call that out a bit more with bold. And I will now put in available works. And I'll put that to the left and remove the border. I'm going to go back to my layout settings, remove some of the padding, and then I'll go back to this object. I think that could be closer. The closer the objects are, the more people will see there's a relationship between them. And that kind of works because what I've done is I've given people a good overview of what's happening coming up at the fair. I've now got my artworks underneath, a preview of some of them, but I would also like to add in a footer. Now, as a gallery, we have a standard footer that we put in almost all emails. And because of that, I've created something that we like to do, which is saved objects. Now, each of these objects, say if you like how you've created these two artworks together and you always want the same sizing or something, you can very easily, on the bottom right-hand corner, go to Save Object. You can title this any number of things. It could be Artwork Panel 1, Artwork Panel 2, however you want to save them. You can save it for yourself just as a user or for everybody in the gallery. And then you can go back and just drag this in and all the formatting will remain the same. So you can speed up how you create all of your newsletters. So one I created earlier was a highline footer. And I will just drag that in. I'm going to put it at the bottom if it will allow me. There we go. And I'm just going to add in a bit of padding below so it's not so bunched up. Great. So this is a very quick and easy. It's not how everybody would do a art fair email, but it's just an example of how you can just drag different objects in, create a very good looking newsletter very quickly. Then the other thing that you can do in our email preview tool, which will speed up how you can kind of get your emails out because you can show people in the gallery very quickly using our software, is the preview button. So in the bottom right, you click preview and you can go and see how this would load on a desktop. So this is the desktop view. And then if you go to the top, you can click on phone and you'll see the different formats that happen for phone and desktop. So this is where you can start troubleshooting and you can say, oh, okay, maybe on the phone, this join us at the Pacific Coast Art Fair is a bit too big. I don't like it being on 3 lines. So, but maybe it works for desktop. I'm not quite sure. So all you would have to go is back into here Change text styles. Maybe we'll go for a 24. It's a little bit more probably what's going to work. And then we'll see on the phone, it's now just on 2 lines. So it's a quick way to just troubleshoot how emails will look. Obviously, using the email send tool, if I come back into here, I'm going to click save. This is now saved as a record. When I come to create my email and I go to my email campaigns, as I create it, you'll be able to add in your email. This is how the email will be previewed, but you can also send a test email. So you can send a test email to yourself, people on your team, and then you can get a good idea of how that's going to look. You can test it on your phone. You can test all the links are working. And we even include a handy little checklist of all the different things you need to include, like email subject and to and from address. So that's our email tools. I'm just going to quickly jump over to some of our website tools. The one I'm going to touch on is actually view on a wall. So in this artwork view on a website, it's great because you can see all the details. We've got further additional images. You kind of can get a sense of how big it is. But we offer a tool which is called View on a Wall, and it sits just under here, which is visualization. And you can click View on a Wall, and what that would do is place this into an environment, a 3D generated environment where you can see its size against an object. We've put in chairs and benches into this, so it's the easiest frame of reference for a lot of people. Now, with this, not every gallery will want this kind of aesthetic, which is why we have lots of different ways you can customize it. So in your website settings, you can jump in and go to your artwork section of the settings of your website and go to a view on a wall. If it's enabled, you can either change it to a standard or a photo mode. So photo mode allows you to upload photos of your own space, and you can create virtually what maybe your gallery looks like, or if you want a specific location, you can upload your own images, and then you can have exactly how you want it to look like. If you want to stick with our standard view on a wall mode, that's totally fine. We have different wall types you can choose. So the current one we're looking at was white paint. You can easily change it to, say, concrete. So if I click concrete and save, and I go back to this, I'm just going to refresh the page. You'll now see when I go to view on a wall, we've got a concrete background. So there are lots of different tools you can, ways you can change it. It really kind of is about finding your aesthetic for your gallery. You can change the floor type to dark wood, and I might want to put in a Chesterfield leather sofa, and I'm going to change it to a brick white look. Let's see how this comes out. But it's really up to you to kind of find out what is the aesthetic that you want to find. But that gives you a good sense of how large the artwork is, and also how it might start to look. For a collector, it's really useful. They can kind of visualize how big it is, and where it might fit in their home. The other thing that we have, which is really important to note, is view in AR. So I'm not going to be able to show you because it requires you to have an iPhone. But what this does is open this pop-up box. It's a dialog that will allow the collector to scan this on their iPhone or their iPad, and then in their own home, they can place this artwork and move it around to different walls, and they'll be able to see how large it is. It will remain true to size. So it's a really great way for people to visualize how big an artwork is. And I know we're running out of time, but I just want to stop on this one blog article that we made that can also touch on some of the website tools. If you head over to artlogic.net, you'll find there's 5 useful features you might not be maximizing on your website. And here we go through the online store. We also go through kind of things like limited availability, but you can find out more information on the augmented reality and view on a wall photo mode. So I hope that was a useful little insight into how you can quickly build some email marketing, and also utilize some of the tools on our website. So thank you very much for taking time to spend with me. If you would like to join us in about 30 minutes, we have another session starting, where we'll have an interesting discussion on the sustainability of logistics within the global art scene. So thank you very much for joining the skill session. We look forward to seeing you in some more sessions on our 3rd day of Artlogic 2024, and hopefully see you soon.